Hello guys, my name is Magnus, also known as Solar Fields, mainly known for the composition from the Mirror's Edge games, I believe. And right now you are in my Studio Jupiter here in Sweden, and I'm gonna show you a track from my upcoming 17th album, and the track is called Parallel Universe. Slightly a little darker track, but it fits into the album journey perfectly, so you will understand when I'm playing it. So now I'm gonna show you the track Parallel Universe that I'm working on for my next album. It's a little more polyrhythmic things going on here, and it's quite a darker track, and yeah, let's go. Starting off with a nice pad. This is basically a piano that I put like a huge amount of reverbs on and stuff like that. And I got some automations going on here. We can do like this. This is without all the effects, you know. And it's basically a piano that is playing harmonics in a major scale. And I tweaked the piano, of course, and it's more like a floating, fluty pad, melodic stuff going on here, but it's, and we have, let's see. I have a little delay here from reactor that is coming up and down to give it some kind of modulations in the background. And also a chorus that will basically do the same, that's coming and going. And then we have a reverb. And then we have a tremolo to bring it alive, up and down, you know. And then we're ending with another reverb. And I also have reverbs here in the send, so it's a lot of reverbs. I like it. And I also use the new sample tracks for this one because let's see here if I can zoom into this a little bit. So I basically took the whole bounce of this big pad and put it into the sample track to give it like a slight little variations and stuff that's going on. So, and this sample track is actually in the beginning I didn't think, okay, it's a sampler, but it's a really creative tool. And when I'm working with it, I find like new possibilities and ideas really fast, you know. So, and particularly this one here now is bringing it up like an octave lower, and it's fading out. And here I was talking about this polyrhythmic stuff. It's already starting with this one. We have a rhythm going on, and this is basically going on for the whole track in the background. The sound is like this, and when I created the sound, I heard some frequencies, vibrations in the background, and I really wanted to bring them up. So I use this EQ to just find out what frequency it is, you know, and bring it up a little bit. The source of this sound was coming from a reactor ensemble. Yes. And I also here bring in some kind of let's see here, similar kind of sound, but it's more bassy and gritty in the background. And here we also have rhythm going on in the background. And it sounds like this without the effects. And then using the frequency EQ that is new for Cubase 9, and I really got hooked to it. It's brilliant actually. I love it. And then bring in some more distortion to get it more gritty, you know, dirty. I like it. And then we have a slightly little reverb in the end to bring the spaciness of it all. And together with this, you can like hear it's already something going on here in the background with the rhythm and stuff like that. And also down here I took into loop mash this very sound that we were looking at before, and made some randomness with the performance control just to give a slightly variation. And so the source is like the same sound, but it's bringing like a small flavors of something that is coming up and coming down, you know. So let's see here. Also have some weird noises going on here. I recorded like shortwave radio frequencies and modulated it and played around with it, and it went out pretty cool, you know. I have a band pass filter to make it like more telephone sound. I use the band pass instead of EQing because it sounded better for this kind of sound, so need to try it out, different kind of things. And the band pass filter here was perfect. And I also use auto panner to create some variations here in the left and right speakers. And it's a random auto panner, so it's never gonna be like in the rhythm or something. It's just randomly going on. And then I also put this shortwave radio sounds into the sample track and play around with it a little. And it created a beautiful atmosphere that we can hear here. It sounds like something underwater going on. And let's take a look. I have the Mod Machine delay modulation thing going on here. And originally it sounds like this. And with the delay and the Roomworks reverb, it creates a really nice atmosphere. Yeah. So yeah, the track carries on here for a couple of minutes with this kind of intro thing going on. And slightly I'm gonna bring in some percussion, and with this percussion it's gonna be like the third rhythmic element coming in, and you will feel it's gonna bring it to, you don't really know the tempo here at all, and when the percussion is coming in now it's gonna get even more confusing, if I can say like that. So yeah, that was the bass frequency that was coming in, so I'm gonna fast forward a little. This is the percussion that is going on basically during the whole track also. So together with this and this intro things, there's a lot of rhythm going on here. And all the three elements is playing differently, rhythmic wise. This is cutting the low frequencies and boosting here a little at 2K to get it fit good in the mix. And this sound here this was actually a bass from the beginning. And it was made with a reactor, and something went wrong. And I heard this shimmering sound. Let's see if I still have some bass frequencies left into this sound. Somewhere in the background you can hear it, that I made something and the sound went completely wonky, you know, and it felt like it's more like a shimmering percussion kind of stuff going on. So I just filtered out the low frequencies, and I put a delay on it and some more reverb. I don't know what it is, but it sounds good. Yeah, I really work a lot with the reactor because it's like a Swiss Army knife of plugins for me. I can use it to whatever I want, and there is so many user ensembles out there. People is creating fantastic instruments like effects, synthesizers or whatever, and it inspires me a lot when I'm working with it. And I mean, this sound is beautiful. I don't know what it is, you know. It was originally a bass sound and it turned out to this. And this is what I like with the reactor, because it can be so weird sometimes. You never know what's going to happen when you work with it. So it's fantastic. I use it a lot. A lot of bass is coming in here. Starting with a Contact 5 library bass, because I really like to have the sound of the strings when you play it, you know, and let's see here. And I also put the Guitar Rig 5 on it to get it a little more gritty and deep, and there is also a chorus going on here and a phaser, because I really wanted to have like these kind of bass sounds that they use like in the 80s or something, with a lot of modulation going on it, you know. And it works really well with Guitar Rig this time. And together I have like 3 basses going on the basses. I have this more, it's not really a bass, it's more like a pad, but it brings some kind of flavor to this electric bass. So if we combine them, brings a little more mystic in the background here. It was created with Massive. It's a pretty straightforward sound, actually. Nothing special going on this one. And I use the Quadrafuzz to get it a little more dirty and gritty, that I like. And I use this compression here. It's a preset rock bass compression, and it works really well. Also put a little bit of reverb on it to bring up the spaciness in it. And go back to this rhythmic part here. I made a copy of this ground rhythm thing. Up here to get a slightly variation. It's in a different key also, so, and it's slightly moved, so they're not playing in the same time, so it creates this kind of echo effect somehow. Let's see here. Yeah, I've just cut it, the low frequencies, and brought some reverb up. Now the drums is kicking in also. This is toms, basically. So this is like the fourth rhythm that is coming in, that is different from the three other rhythms. And here I have a filter cutting off some low frequencies and the frequency equalization. The tom sounds is made from additive drums. That is a drum plugin that I really like to work with. Sounds good, and it really does. If I want to have like real kind of drum feeling, that's my plug of choice for the drums. Absolutely. So here I having my like effects folder. This is where some effects is going on and weirdness. And I have like a build up here before the toms is kicking in, I believe. Yes. And it sounds like this. I made this sound with a Nord Modular G2. It's like my favorite hardware synthesizer, and I basically always use that. And especially for the Mirror's Edge Catalyst and the original Mirror's Edge, it's like the workhorse for those kind of sounds and music in not sound, but the music for the game. It's like it's my Mirror's Edge synthesizer. I love it. It's getting old now, but it's a fantastic machine. So this is like just cutting the low frequencies, bringing a little bit of the heights up, and again reverb. And it's ringing out very nicely in the space. And we also have a couple of reverse parts here. I think this one is basically just a reversed, traditional reverse cymbal. But then I have a reversed flute also. And together with a reverse cymbal, creates almost like a really angelic sound. You don't know where it's going, but it's something that is pushing you forward, you know. I was playing around with the Equator from Roly Seaboard, the software that is bundled with this key. And basically when I just got this, and I found this beautiful flute sound and tweaked it a little bit. And I always like to experiment with the sounds, with the samples. I reverse them and cutting them, and I just reversed it, and here it is. Put it in, you know, and I think it sounds beautiful. And for this build-up, I'm ending it with a noisy sound. Let's see. Pretty straightforward sound. Reverb, putting the heights up a little bit. And here is another sound that it kicks in just slightly after the fade up. And this sound I also found on this shortwave radio kind of thing. And I think it's really fun, because when you scrolling through the frequency bands, you hear so many weird things going on that is basically non-existing sounds. Yeah, for me it sounded like a voice and some kind of a fragile screaming that was going on. And I'm playing around with the pitches on this sound. To bring up some tension for the next chapter in the track, you know. I made this with a real-time transposition in Cubase. Exactly, and I rebounced it, but I always use the elastic pitch when I do these kind of things, and it's so smooth and it sounds really good for me. So it's perfect. And also for this part, I'm having some sort of, it sounds like a didgeridoo or something with a noise on top of that is going on. And I took this didge and put it into the sample track also. We can see here, I believe. Let's zoom in. Brings some scary feeling into it. Sounds like a synthesizer filter thing going on, and I'm using a preset here that I tweaked a little bit from the Sound Toys Filter Freak. I have a slightly modulation going on, and this is what you hear when it's crinking, or what it's called in the here, exactly. And again, distortion, bring the grittiness in there. And the ping pong delay into the reverb again. So let's listen to this part where it builds up with the flutes. This is like the next chapter in the track. Now we are going somewhere, you know, we're heading out in the dark road. We do not know what's gonna happen. So and this shortwave screams that I call them is like, yeah, as I told before, building up like the tension for the next chapter. Since I'm changing the pitch, something is going on. Bringing in a new percussion element is basically a tabla. And I made some EQing here with the frequency EQ, and I have the filter freak again on here, slightly modulated. The origin of this tabla, I'm having like a huge sample collection that I've been creating for like 20 years almost. So I have a huge archive with sound. So I don't really remember the origin of this sound, but I was like fiddling around with different kind of sounds, and the frequency of the tabla was ringing perfectly to the other sounds in the background. So that's the reason I choose this tabla sound. And more drums is slowly kicking in here now. This is like a snare that is made up of 3 different kind of snares. So let's start with the first one. Sounds like this. Kind of a dirty punch, you know. And frequency equalization always sounds good. And then we have a little jazzy thing that makes it waving a little. And then we have like more like a normal snare that is going into my snare group here. Let's see. Where I have also a frequency EQ. And I put this step filter on it because this is like wave files. It's no difference in it. It's the same sample all around, you know. But I put step filter on the snare group, and this step filter is going in the same BPM. So each hit will sound a little bit different in the background. Something is going on there. The normal snare sound is it's bounce, so when I'm basically cutting the sample, it cuts, so it sounds really gated, and it fits really good into this snare groove. We remove it, something is missing in the bottom also. And the step filter is doing its work. And this snare rhythm is based on a 4/4 rhythm. So here I'm bringing in the 4/4 rhythm in the whole arrangement. But still all the background percussions and the toms and everything is playing in a different kind of rhythm. Here I'm bringing in my second tabla that is more focused on the left speaker. The original tabla is mostly focused on the right speaker. And also I recorded some seashells that I was picking up on the beach in South Africa, where I created this track. I wanted to try out something new with the percussion, so I went down to the beach and I was picking up a big bag of seashells. I cleaned them up and put them in a box, and then I put my hand in the box and moved it, you know, and recorded it. So, but it turned out to be not so good actually, but I found one sound that was making it a little bit extra, and this is very simple. This is actually the seashell sound. It doesn't sound like it, but it is. Handpicked by me on Solar Beach actually. So it just brings some more stability into the rhythm, and this is one of the seashells channels is panned to the left, and one is panned to the right, and the right channel, or the left channel, is actually coming a little bit before the right channel to give it a little space in the speakers. And those two are going into a group channel with a little compression on. I'm using this space up build that I call it, that I made with a Nord Modular G2 to bring it up a little bit. And I'm basically cutting off all the drums and keeping the percussion, and present a new drum element with a kind of a funky, weird rhythm track made with, once again, addictive drums. And editors. Let's see here. Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward programming, but I'm using the quantizer here as a MIDI insert to swing it on the groove. So let's have a listen to the groove. Let's take a look here at the little bit tweaking with the frequency EQ, and again a compressor to bring it out of the sound picture. It's a little difficult to describe, but I want it to be, I really want these drums to be a super new part of the track. It should be okay. You should really feel that the drums is there, you know. No, there is no sidechaining going on in this track at all, I think, because I don't see why I should use it. I mean, if I need to remove some frequencies or something is disturbed, in this track I rather just cut it away. If the sample, for example, a percussion sample is interfere with the drums here, I either cut it away, basically just move it, or working with EQ or something to make it sound nicer, because I don't want to have this kind of a pumping feeling at all. This is more like back to the roots somehow, you know. So let's take a listen from this build up. We have some new elements coming in here just before the drums kicks in. This is what we were hearing. So this was made this sound with the equator, the VST instrument, and here I'm presenting a sound that will come on later on the track. So this is like I'm flirting a little bit with what is coming. You know, I'm presenting something new that will arrive later, and yeah, that's the fade up. So this is a melody that I was playing, and I reversed it. So let's have a listen how it originally sounds. Let's reverse it back. New version. So this is basically the theme of the track that is coming in the end, that I wanted to bring in those kind of sounds here in the middle of the track so when the people is arriving to the theme, they already felt the theme sort of, you know, and but not fully. That's why it's also reversed, and it fitted perfectly for this kind of build-up that was going on. The creation of this sound was, I used like two oscillators with, I think one was a guitar sample in the background, and the other oscillator was like an nylon guitar, and then again distortion and loads of reverbs to bring up to this spaciness, you know. And it's a very simple patch actually, but it sounds good. And the sound will come back a little bit later here in the track again. And let's see if there is anything else going on here. Yeah, I'm having I call it guitar, but it's not. but it's something that brings up the tension in the background where we're going now. And the guitar was actually presented a little bit earlier. It's just a chord. And it's not a guitar actually, it's a bassy sound that let's see here. What did I use for this? When I made this track, I didn't have any access to any instruments like guitars or anything, so I needed to fake it, and it sounds like a guitar to me, so it's perfect. I used Guitar Rig 5, found a good preset there that I tweaked a little bit. And some more tweaking with the frequency EQ. And then a big reverb to make it look like a more darker, scarier feeling over it. And the origin of the sound is like this. It's a huge difference. So let's go through this sound here. It starts with this kind of a stabby bass sound. And I bring on the distortion here with the Guitar Rig 5. Making it a little more evil. And then I'm tweaking up the frequencies and the volume with the EQ. And then I bring on the space with the reverb. So now it's really big and long, fading. Sorry guys, we have to leave now, but be sure to watch the second part that is coming up soon.